Socialism, socialism, socialism. Is it good? Is it bad? According to Republicans, it depends on who you're helping out.
City's already in debt. The governor says no to new taxes. Like Margaret Thatcher said, socialism's great until you run out of everyone else's money, other people's money.
Well, what Andrew Cuomo said is that if he had $959 million, he'd give it to Elon Musk in tax credits, because that's exactly what he did. And I bring that up to you to say that it's often a question of whether you have the willingness to spend that money to benefit working class people, not where that money is in the first place.
So what would you...
Ooh, 1 point, Mamdani. Now, let's see what Jon Stewart has to say.
When corporations fail, you pay for it. But when they succeed, it's theirs. They socialize their losses and privatize their gains. Why do we allow that?
Consider this. Wealthy people do not stash their billions in safe deposit boxes loaded with $100 bills. They don't do that. And they don't spend it all at the mall. They don't spend like crazy. No, wealthy people invest. It is investment that creates jobs and economic growth.
See, this is the lie they tell you, that all this money flowing towards corporate and moneyed interests is actually for your benefit. The government intervention for corporations is our free market, but government intervention for workers is socialism. And that's the reason for the socialism scaremongering. It's a false choice to make you believe that this country has but two options: a socialist, authoritarian, hamburgerless Venezuelan nightmare, or accept the status quo, where large corporations benefit from government help, then use some of those profits to lobby the same government for more government help. They want you to believe that in a free market, while your wages stay low, someday the largesse will eventually trickle down. And in the meantime, enjoy watching your tax dollars help billionaires launch themselves into space.
Yep, the old trickle-down economics. Let these guys get rich and they'll send you some of that money. Trust me. Let's check out corporate socialism.
More microliberalisms. When a conservative says they hate socialism, smile sweetly at them and ask, "Oh, so you're against corporate socialism too?" When giant corporations pay a lower effective tax rate than you, use 10,000 times more public resources, and still expect taxpayers to cover their roads, ports, bailouts, and subsidies while the profits go to CEOs instead of workers, just watch the conservative gears grind and say, if you're against socialism, you should also be against corporate socialism too. And in case any MAGA find this video, yes, corporate socialism is a thing, and honestly, the US is a corporate socialist state, on top of now being fascist.
So if you're really against socialism, then be against socialism, both for the corporation and the individual. But it seems like Republicans want to give money to the corporations and not the individuals. And here's a conservative pundit that's saying what Trump is doing is socialism.
I'm sorry, but no, this is a terrible, this is socialism. The U.S. government would become the largest shareholder of Intel. This is actual socialism happening by a Republican administration. There's no national security justification for this. All of you people were freaked out about Mamdani in New York City wanting government-run grocery stores and saying the people need to seize the means of production. That's what Harold Lutnick is doing right now, saying that the government must seize the controlling interest in Intel, the means of production, in order to get government money. You can't just be against socialism when the left does it. If you're not against socialism overall, guess what? You're going to get socialism. So if you support socialism, apparently Donald Trump is your guy.
That's right. The Trump administration is taking interest from private companies like Intel, NVIDIA, and others. So what happened to capitalism? You're doing socialism. And here's Jessica Tarlov talking about it on Fox.
And looking at this from someone who also wants to win elections, I know that this is what Republicans want to talk about, and they're doing a great job of it, and they do it every election cycle. But it is not working. People know their grocery prices are high because of Donald Trump, not because of Zohran Mamdani. They are watching what's going on with the Epstein saga. They're watching what's going on with their health care premiums. And if Trump thinks he can run an election just saying, like, socialism bad, it's not going to work out.
No, we're just going to run on your party saying socialism good.
Yeah, and that's what you've done before and lost elections on it. It is baked in now that you are going to say that one thing. If you don't also say, I have a plan to fix the things that I promised on day one that I would.
None of your data merits trust.
There you have the folks on Fox being schooled by Jessica Tarlov about how the word socialism as a critique, as a criticism, has lost its value. Because now what we're seeing is more and more corporate socialism and this attack on individual socialism. Socialism in general. So when we're talking about the individual, we're talking about things like, giving health care to people who need it, giving some other food programs to school kids, helping people get a leg up from the bottom up, from the middle up. And that's what the Republicans have always criticized, that the Democrats want to make this a socialist state. It's going to be an authoritarian state. They're going to take all your tax dollars and give it to poor people. And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? They're going to tell you what to do. They're going to take over everything. They're going to be, as that girl said in that TikTok, the Republicans claim that the Democrats are going to somehow become this authoritarian state. Meanwhile, here we are in Trump's America, MAGA America, and we've got the Republicans, the MAGA folks that have become fascist, and they've become socialist. They become socialist because they're taking a percentage of the profits from these private companies. Now, guys like Bernie Sanders have actually said that that's a good thing. And if you ask my opinion, I actually don't mind these companies helping America if they can in some way, because what they get is they get big tax breaks, like we saw earlier when Mamdani was talking about the tax breaks that Cuomo wanted to give to Elon Musk. They get huge tax breaks. Their companies get big tax breaks, and they keep making more and more money. And this all goes back to Ronald Reagan and trickle-down economics. And the idea behind trickle-down economics was that if you let the rich people get more and more rich, they will share it with you, which is just a bunch of crap. Because if you give rich people a lot of money, they'll just buy more yachts, or they'll throw weddings in Venice, $60 million weddings like Jeff Bezos did in Venice, Italy. Or they'll become multi-billionaires like Larry Ellison or Elon Musk or Peter Thiel or any of these guys. No one individual should have that many billions of dollars. They just shouldn't. Like, there should be a certain point where we go, okay, how can we have that much wealth going when we have so much poverty also going on? How can we have that much wealth going when the ordinary American is struggling to make ends meet, make the paycheck to paycheck? I saw Elizabeth Warren one time. She had suggested this would be a good idea. How about we tax these folks on the increase in their stock value each year, like 2%. 2% of their increase of their stock value. Because what billionaires do, and what these big people that are now owners of all of these companies do, they don't actually spend their money. What they do is they don't pay taxes on income. Like Jeff Bezos a few years back, I don't know what it's at now, but a few years ago, was giving himself like an $80,000 or $90,000 annual income. But he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. So the way he would get around it, he would go in and get a loan against some of that money to go buy, let's say, a 12th home. And then in order to pay off the loan on that 12th home, he go get another loan against that loan, because he's worth so much that these banks would keep loaning to them. And so he doesn't have to sell his stocks and pay taxes on capital gains. He doesn't have an income to pay taxes on. So famously, Warren Buffett had said that his secretary was paying a higher tax rate than he was, because the way the system is set up to help these billionaires and these corporations. And so when they use the word socialism, Zohran Mamdani is a socialist. He's going to bring socialism to New York. He very, very clearly and astutely handled that question. Why is it that you get upset when I say I want to make grocery stores be able to set prices at a certain amount so that people can afford it, but you don't mind when that handout, helping out those that need it, you get upset. But when it's helping out billionaires, you're cool with it. Give those guys a tax break. Let them come and set up their corporation right here. Don't pay any taxes. Don't let your workers unionize, and let the shareholders just make more and more money. And that's the system we're living in now. And what's happened is Republicans have convinced their own constituents that this word socialism is a bad word. Meanwhile, they're doing things like shutting down the government because they don't want to guarantee that the price of healthcare under the Affordable Care Act is not going to go up. We know it's going to go up, but the Republicans won't won't say, you know what, we'll set it, we'll cap it so it won't go up. And what they're saying is fear mongering. They're going, oh, we're not signing on to this because immigrants have been getting free health care. And so therefore, we're not signing on to this to pass the budget, the current budget, which is just, again, it's a bunch of crap. The truth is that they are trying to increase healthcare costs because, hey, that's socialism. Why would we help people that are our own constituents? A lot of the people that suffer from these price hikes are constituents in Republican states and districts, people who voted for these guys, and they are going to see their health insurance costs go up. They've seen their food costs go up, and they're not getting any kind of tax breaks, Elon Musk tax breaks or Jeff Bezos tax breaks or any of those guys as tax breaks. So all anyone has to do is very simple. A 5-year-old could see it. If you look at the disparity of wealth back in, let's say, 30, 40 years ago, their disparity of wealth between the top earners and the bottom earners was not at all near what it is now. Now it's gone crazy. We have all these billionaires, and someone's in a race to become the first trillionaire. How much money does anybody need? I'll be honest with you. If I had $1 billion, I'd be like, hey, man, I think I'm good. Like, I think I don't really need to work anymore. Maybe I'll go, help out somewhere, build homes or something, help people. If I had $10 million, I'd be happy. If I had like $1 million, even $1 million, when you have $1 million, it used to be something. Now it's not. It's not anymore. Because why? Because the cost of things are going up. You want to buy a home? Go try and buy a home with $1 million in Los Angeles or New York. See what kind of home you get. So the truth is, what's happened is we've got this small percentage of people that are super, super wealthy, and everybody else is struggling below them. Why? Because we keep giving breaks to these billionaires and their companies. And this word socialism is supposed to be a bad thing. There's some countries that take care of their people. We always look at those Nordic countries that take care of their people. You get sick, you go to the doctor, and they go, oh, yes, this is a free visit. Now, are there problems in these countries? Sure. But should we be taking care of our people? Yes, sure. Should we be giving tax breaks to these corporations and not claiming that it's socialism? It is. It's corporate socialism. And then to go in and take a percentage from these companies, it's supposed to be private companies. The whole Intel deal was money that Intel had gotten under the Biden administration. They wanted to try and get Intel to create the chips that we create in China for computer chips and the sort. They wanted to have Intel start to build companies to start doing that. So they gave them some, big billions of dollars worth of money to start building those products here in America. And then when Trump came in, he goes, you know what? Give me 10%. Just give me 10%. And the truth is, again, if you look at it from Bernie Sanders' point of view, it's a way of taxing that company, which in a way, hey, that's not bad. But I also think that given Donald Trump, I would not be surprised if he found a way to funnel that money into his private bank or whatever, his private businesses. There's some way that he's going to take a little bit of that, put it away for Trump organization. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy's a crook. The guy's a crook. And they've sold this idea that socialism is bad. It's bad. How dare you want healthcare? That's bad. They've been going after the Affordable Care Act since it first came out. They tried to sink it. They wouldn't pass it. They had convinced their own constituents that they don't want healthcare. And they got it passed. Obama was able to pass it. Then when Trump first came in, remember he first came into office and they tried to, again, get rid of it. And John McCain famously showed up on the Senate floor and went like this and said, I'm not voting to get rid of it. And they kept it. And then Trump said, I have a better healthcare plan. And then the debates last year, when asked, what's your healthcare plan? He goes, we're working on it. So 10 years later, they got concepts, he said. They have concepts. So they don't have any answers to the problem, but they do know how to scare people. Socialism, it's coming to get ya. Guys, I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I've got a channel right here on YouTube, just Maz Jobrani. Give it a follow. I post stand-up comedy. Give me comments. Let me know that you came from Rebel HQ. And come see me live. I'm touring all over the country. Take care.